or Bhagavad Gita introduction.
I'll
Hare
just
Krishna.
join back in 2 minutes.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Can I start now, Sami Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Is my voice okay? Is it audible, right?
Yeah, is the recording on? Yeah, it is. Prabhu.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana-तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि बोल. Thank you all devotees for joining. So now we can start to read. Which verse were we in, Sami Prabhu?
I think 6. But let me check. What is happening? Ooh, 1 second. So what is fifth one? Can you show fifth one? Yes, Prabhu. I can. Yeah, I'll send the PDF. There is Pranjal there. Haribol, yeah, it's mantra 6. From mantra 6, we can continue.
Okay. So Ishopanishad Mantra 6. I will try to read the Sanskrit as well. I mean the diacritics. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani evanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato va vijugupshate. Any other devotee wants to read? Dharani Prabhu, Pranjal Prabhu, anyone? Sami Prabhu is cooking, so he'll be unavailable, I think. But others, okay. Prabhu, you can go to the PDF. Dharani Prabhu cannot read right now, it's fine. Okay, so we can do the word for word. Yaha, he who, tu, but, sarvani, all, bhutani, living entities, atmani, in relation to the Supreme Lord, eva, only, anupashyati, observes in a systematic way, sarva bhuteshu, in every living being, cha, and atmanam, the super soul, tataha, thereafter, na, not. Vijugupshate hates anyone. Srinath Prabhu has joined. Hare Krishna, Srinath Prabhu. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Srinath Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yes. Okay, so we're reading Ishopanishad 6, so we can take turns to read. Okay, Prabhu? Okay, translation. He who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. Purport. This is a description of the Mahabhagavata, the great personality who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord's presence is realized in three stages. The Kanishta Adhikari is in the lowest stage of realization. He goes to a place of worship, such as a temple, church, or mosque, according to his religious faith, and worships there according to scriptural injunctions. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at the place of worship and nowhere else. They cannot ascertain who is in what position in devotional service, nor can they tell who has realized the Supreme Lord. Such devotees follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering one type of devotion better than another. These Kanishta Adhikaris are actually materialistic devotees who are simply trying to transcend the material boundary to reach the spiritual plane. Those who have attained the second stage of realization are called Madhyama Adhikaris. These devotees observe the distinction between four categories of being: 1. The Supreme Lord; 2. The devotees of the Lord; 3. The innocent, who have no knowledge of the Lord; and 4. The atheist, who have no faith in the Lord and hate those in the devotional line. The Madhyama Adhikari behaves differently towards these four classes of person. He adores the Lord, considering him the object of love. He makes friends with those who are in devotional service. He tries to awaken the dormant love of God in the hearts of the innocent, and he avoids the atheists who deride the very name of the Lord. Above the Madhyama Adhikari is the Uttama Adhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between an atheist and a theist, but sees everyone as part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no essential difference between a vastly learned Brahmana and a dog in the street, because both of them are part and parcel of the Lord. Although they, although they are engaged in different bodies on account of their different qualities of their activities on previous lives. He sees that the Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him. 1 minute. That the Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him. How come? Given him by the Supreme. Given to him, right? It should have been. Yeah, that's what even I was wondering. Okay, never mind. The Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given to him by the Lord and that the dog particle has misused his independence and is therefore being punished by the laws of nature by being encaged in the form of a dog. Not considering the respective actions of the Brahmana and the dog, the Uttamadhikari tries to do good to both. Such a learned devotee is not misled by material bodies but is attracted by the spiritual spark within them. So, just a minute, Sami Prabhu, if you can just come here for just 2 seconds. I'm so sorry to disturb you. So, you can see here it's given. This is the PDF by Luvesh Prabhu, right? So, he has to make a change. It's given here that the Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him. This is wrong grammar given to him. So, just kindly make a note of this and
Yeah.
just share to Luvesh Prabhu. So, just kindly remember that, okay?
What's the page? Pranjal Prabhu, take a note or something. Oh,
Yeah,
30.
take a note of the page, Pranjal Prabhu. 36, 37, the first paragraph. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Pranjal Prabhu, you can go down. Yeah, you can message yourself or Sami Prabhu and them. Right. Those who imitate an Uttamadhikari by flaunting a sense of oneness of fellowship, but who behave on the bodily platform are actually false philanthropists. The conception of universal brotherhood must be learned from an Uttamadhikari and not from a foolish person who does not properly understand the individual soul or the Supreme Lord's super soul expansion, who dwells everywhere. It is clearly mentioned in this sixth mantra that one should observe or systematically see. This means that one must follow the previous acharyas, the perfected teachers. Anupashyati is the exact Sanskrit word used in this connection. Anu means to follow, and pashyati means to observe. Thus, the word anupashyati means that one should not see things as he does with the naked eye, but should follow the previous acharyas. Hmm. Due to material defects, the naked eye cannot see anything properly. One cannot see properly unless one has heard from a superior source. And the highest source is the Vedic wisdom, which is spoken by the Lord Himself. Vedic truths are coming in disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, and from Vyasa to many of his disciples. Formerly, there was no need to record the message of the Vedas because people in earlier ages were more intelligent and had sharper memories. They could follow the instructions simply by hearing once from the mouth of a bona fide spiritual master. Hmm. At present, there are many commentaries on the revealed scriptures, but most of them are not in the line of disciplic succession coming from Srila Vyasadeva, who originally compiled the Vedic wisdom. The final, most perfect, and sublime work by Srila Vyasadeva is the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. There is also the Bhagavad Gita, which was spoken by the Lord Himself and recorded by Vyasadeva. There are these are the most important revealed scriptures, and any commentary that contradicts the principles of the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam is unauthorized. Hare Krishna, Manu Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you
Hare
very much
Krishna
for
Prabhu.
joining, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Dhawan
Pranam.
Salam to Sri
Manu
Prabhupada.
Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. All glory to Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
God bless you,
Jai.
Sri Prabhupada.
Thank you for joining, Prabhu, and providing your associations. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
so
I'm just, yes,
Hare Krishna Lebohang Prabhu as well joined. Hare Krishna Lebohang Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to
All
Srila
glories
Prabhupada.
to Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
Okay. So, and any commentary that contradicts the principles of the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam is unauthorized. There is complete agreement among the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. And no one should try to reach any conclusion about the Vedas without receiving instructions from members of Vyasadev's disciplic succession, who believe in the personality of Godhead and his diverse energies as they're explained in Sri Isopanisad. According to the Bhagavad Gita 18.54, only one who's already on the liberated platform, Brahmabhutha, Srimad Bhagavatam 4.30.20, can become an Uttama Adhikari devotee and see every living being as his own brother. Hmm. This vision cannot be had by any politicians who are always after some material gain. One who imitates the symptoms of an Uttamadhikari may serve another's outward body for the purpose of fame or material reward. But he does not serve the spirit soul. Such an imitator can have no information of the spiritual world. The Uttamadhikari sees a spirit soul within the material body and serves him as spirit. Thus, the material aspect is automatically served. I think we can just read the last two paragraph again. I mean, very, very like nice. I mean, yeah, can you just scroll a little bit up? Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Uh, At the present, there are many commentaries on the revealed scripture, but most of them are not on the line of succession coming from Srila Vyasadeva, who originally compiled the Vedic wisdom. The final, most perfected and sublime work of Srila Vyasadeva is the Bhagavatam, which is a natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. There is also the Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by the Lord Himself and recorded by Vyasadeva. These are the most important revealed scriptures. Wow. And any commentary that contradicts the principles of the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam is unauthorized. There is complete agreement among the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. And no one should try to reach any conclusion about the Vedas without receiving instructions from the members of Vyasadeva's disciplic succession. Who believe in the personality of Godhead and His diverse energies as they explained in Sri Isopanisad. According to the Bhagavad Gita, only one who is already on the liberated platform, Brahmabhuta, can become an Uttamadhikari devotee and see every living being as his own brother. This vision cannot be had by any politicians who are always after some material gain. One who imitates the symptoms of an Uttamadhikari may serve another's outward body for the purpose of fame or material reward. But he does not serve the spirit soul. Such an imitator can have no information of the spiritual world. The Uttamadhikari sees the spirit soul within the material body and serves him as spirit. Thus, the material aspect is automatically served. Wow, Haribol.
You know,
Yeah, because
when I
many people. Yes, bro.
no, I was just saying like the Uttamaikari, that sentence when it says when Prabhupada says that the pure devotee sees the soul within the body. There's so many Prabhupada memories saying that when Prabhupada looked into my eyes, it was almost as if he's seeing directly to my soul.
Haribol. Yeah.
Yes,
Actually, the reason why I wanted to read the last verse is because, especially in India, you'll see so many people trying to do so many philanthropic activities and claim as a very exalted, advanced spiritual person. But here it is clearly said that for some material benefit, they might want to, extend or rather do extended sense gratification, you know, like by serving them and serving their body. But they have no idea about the spiritual life and spiritual knowledge because they don't serve the spirit soul. And such an imitator can have no information of the spiritual world. So yeah, I mean, this is so many people in India do this. They like, for example, one person might start a huge like food donation campaign, and then he might proclaim himself as a very big like philanthropist. So here it is stated that extended sense gratification only, and they have no information of the spiritual world. So yeah, I think any other devotee who wants to read can read the mantra 7. Perhaps Manu Prabhu or Lebang Prabhu or Srinath Prabhu, anyone.
I'm just here for a short while. I'm just about to take a rest. Thank you
Yes,
for your
Prabhu.
association.
Yeah, no worries, Prabhu. Then anybody else can read because Manu Prabhu has to take some rest in some time. Perhaps Lebang Prabhu, if you want, you can read. Or Vanchakaturu Veshta Kapasinda Bevasha Paditana Pavane Bevasha Vipurumana. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hari Bol. Srinath Prabhu or Lebang Prabhu, anybody wants to read this verse?
Lebang Prabhu wants to.
Haribol Prabhu.
Hari Bol Jai.
Sorry, Prabhu. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, can hear.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva buddhi vijanantaha tatra ko moha tatra ko moha kakka soka ekatwam. Hey, Prabhu, not make sure, but then Anupasyataha. Hey, Prabhu. Can you read it, Prabhu? I want
Yes,
to get
Prabhu.
it true.
Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva buddh vijanataha tatra ko mohaha kaha shoka ekatvam anupashyataha.
Oh, okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu Harbo.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yasmin, in this situation, Sarvani, all Bhutani, living entities, Atma, the Chitkana, or spiritual spark, Eva, only, Abut, exist. Is it exist?
Exist as.
Exist as, oh, Vijanantaha, of one who knows, Tatra, therein, Kaha, what? Moha, illusion, Kaha, what? Sokaha, anxiety, Ekatwam, oneness, inequality, oh, oneness in quality. Taha of one who sees through authority, or one who sees constantly like that. Translation. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality, one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? Purport. Except for the Madhyamadikari or Uttamadikari discussed above, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of a living being. The living entities are qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, just as the spark of a fire are qualitatively one with the fire. Yet sparks are not fire as far as quantity is concerned, for the quantity of heat and light present in the spark is not equal to that in fire. The, the Mahabhagavata, the great devotee, sees oneness in the sense of that he sees everything as the energy of the Supreme Lord. Prabhu, one question: is the Mahabhagavat, is he in the Uttama level or is he Madhya Madhikari?
I think Sami Prabhu can answer. He is more qualified.
No, Prabhu, I'm not qualified. But Madhyama Adhikari can be understood as Uttama also. In last lecture, I think it was saying.
Okay.
Because he will eventually become Uttama Adhikari. They won't fall down on the second platform.
Okay, Prabhu
And
Harbo.
sometimes Uttama Adhikari comes to the level of Madhyama Adhikari when he preaches. So they have to like seemingly come to the lower stage, but still they're Uttama Adhikari.
Oh yes. Sam, is this your computer? It looks different now.
This is the hacking center.
Okay, the Mahabhagavata, the great devotee, sees oneness in the sense that he sees everything as the energy of the Supreme Lord. Since there is no difference between the energy and the energetic, there is the sense of oneness. Although from the analytical point of view, heat and light are different from fire, there is no meaning to the word fire without heat and light. In synthetic, is it scientists? Therefore, heat, light, and fire are the same. In this mantra, who in this mantra, the words ekatwam and pasyataha indicate that one should see the unity of all living entities from the viewpoint of the revealed scriptures. The individual sparks of the supreme whole, the Lord possesses almost 80% of the known qualities of the whole, but they are not qualitatively equal to the supreme Lord. These qualities are present in minute is it quantity for the living entity is but a minute part and partial of the supreme whole. To use another analogy, the quantity of salt present in a drop is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in the complete ocean. But the salt present in the drop is qualitatively equal in chemical composition to all the salt present in the ocean. If the individual living being were equal to the Supreme Lord, both qualitatively and quantitatively, there would be no question of his being under the influence of the material energy. In the previous mantras, it has already been discussed that no living being, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass the supreme being in any respect. Therefore, ekatwam does not mean that a living being is equal in all respects to the supreme Lord. It does, however, indicate that in a broader sense, there is one interest. Just as in a family, the interest of all members is one, or in a nation, the national interest is one, although there are many different individual citizens. Since the living entities are all members of the same supreme family, the interest and that of the supreme being are not different. Every living being is the son of the supreme being. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.5, all living creatures throughout the universe, including birds, reptiles, and aquatics, trees, and so on, are emanations of the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all of them belong to the family of the Supreme Being. There is no clash of interest. The spiritual entities are meant for enjoyment, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12. Ananda Mayo Bayasat. By nature and constitution, every living being, including the law in each of these part and parcels, is meant for eternal enjoyment. The living being who are engaged in the material ter- tabernacle. How do you pronounce it, Prabhu?
It's
Tabernacle.
tabernacle. Tabernacle.
Tabernacle. Okay, Prabhu. Are constantly seeking enjoyment, but they are seeking it on the wrong platform. Apart from the material platform is the spiritual platform, where the Supreme Being enjoys himself with his innumerable associates. On that platform, there is no trace of material qualities, and therefore that platform is called the Niraguna. On the Guna platform, there is never a clash over the object of enjoyment. Here in the material world, there is always a clash between different individual beings because here the center of enjoyment is missed. The real center of enjoyment is the Lord, who is the center of the sublime and spiritual rasa dance. We are all meant to join here, enjoy life with one transcendental interest and without any clash. That is the highest platform of spiritual interest. And as soon as one realizes this perfect form of oneness, there can be no question of illusion, moha, or lamentation, soka. A godless civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such a civilization is lamentation. A godless civilization, such as the sponsored by the modern politicians, is always full of anxieties because it may be crushed at any moment. That is the law of nature. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.14, no one but those who surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can surpass the stringent laws of nature. Thus, if we wish to get rid of all sorts of illusion and anxiety and create unity out of all diverse interests, we must bring God into all our activities. The results of our activities must be used to serve the interest of the Lord and not for any other purpose. Only by serving the Lord's interest can we perceive the Atma Bhuta interest mentioned herein. The Atma Bhuta interest mentioned in this mantra and the Brahmas Bhuta, Srimad Bhagavatam 4:30 to 20. Interest mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 18.54 are one and the same. The supreme Atma or soul is the Lord Himself, and the minute Atma is the living entity. The supreme Atma or Param Atma alone maintains all the individual minute beings. For the supreme Lord wants to derive pleasure out of the affection. The Father extends Himself through His children and maintains them in order to derive pleasure if the children obey the Father's will. family affairs will run smoothly with one interest and a pleasing atmosphere. The same situation is transcendentally arranged in the absolute family of the Parabrahman, the supreme spirit. The Parabrahman is as much as a is as much as no, is as much a person as the individual entities. Neither the Lord nor the living entities are impersonal. Such transcendental personalities are full of transcendental bliss, knowledge, and life eternal. That is the real position of spiritual existence. And as soon as one is fully cognizant of this transcendental position, he at once surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Being, Sri Krishna. But such a Mahatma or great soul is very rarely seen because such transcendental realization is achieved only after many, many births. Once it is attained, however, there is no longer any illusion or lamentation or the miseries of material existence or birth and death, which are all experienced in our present life. That is the information we get from this mantra of Sri Isopanisad. Haribol.
I mean, the last two paragraphs are like very interesting, you know. I mean, wow. Yeah,
Yes,
especially like Pranjal Prabhu, can you just scroll a little bit up? Yeah, I mean, even above that, actually. Yeah, I believe even you were highlighting that. Yeah, you were highlighting, yeah, a godless civilization from this part. Yeah, from the like on the top row, the godless civilization part. Yeah, so this is more up on 43rd page. Yeah, yeah, there. Yeah, stop. Yes. A godless civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such a civilization is lamentation. A godless civilization, such as that sponsored by modern politicians, is always full of anxieties because it may be crushed at any moment. That is a law of nature. So that's what we can say every time. Everybody's always fighting. In Africa, they're fighting. In India and China and also Pakistan, everybody's always fighting. So that is because of the fact that they're godless. Mm. Yeah, and Prabhupada also says that is the law of nature. You know. So yeah, because then a godless civilization has to be maintained by so much, sinful activity. So according to the laws of nature, there will be a bomb and everything will be crushed. That's how it is. And also, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.14, no one but those who surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can surpass the stringent laws of nature. Thus, if we wish to get rid of all sort of illusion and anxiety and create unity of all diverse interests, we must bring God into our activities. Wow, it's very important. Hmm. The result of our activities must be used to serve the interests of the Lord and not for any other purpose. Only serving the Lord's interest can we perceive the Atma Bhuta interest mentioned here. In the Atma Bhuta interest mentioned in this mantra and the Brahma Bhuta interest mentioned in Bhagavad Gita are one and the same. The Supreme Atma or soul is the Lord Himself, and the minute Atma is a living entity. Hmm. Haribo. Jai. Thank you so much, Labang Prabhu, for reading. Hare Krishna, Nirchar, Neil Prabhu, or I have to call you
Hare
Neil,
Krishna
is it?
Prabhu, please accept my humble salutations
Haribol.
to Prabhupada.
Krishna Neil
Anand Pranam Prabhu. Jai
Prabhu.
Shri Prabhupada. Very
Yes,
happy
sir.
to see you
Yes, Prabhu.
with Tilak. Haribo.
Yes, sir.
So now you're wearing Tilak to college, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, very nice.
Haribo. Very nice. Very happy to hear, Prabhu. You joined our Ishtagoshi last week also?
Not the last week, I think the last to last week.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 19. I'm 19 years old.
19. Oh, nice. Yeah, please join the Ishtagoshi regularly. It's very important and very happy to see you. I think I messaged you long back once.
Yes, sir.
I believe
Long
for
back,
the
long with I think a conversation of Srila Prabhupada also.
last,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
long back I asked you to join the Ishtagoshi and I sent you one
Yes, sir.
purport.
Yes, sir.
You remember?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember it.
Yeah. Then I was thinking, oh, you haven't joined. And then, wow, I'm very happy to see you, Prabhu. Hari Bol. If you want, you can also continue. If Labang Prabhu wants to continue, he can do so, or someone else can also do. Hari Bol.
Haribol.
Someone else can read.
Okay, Prabhu. Which verse now? 8 or 9? Rangal Prabhu.
think I
Neil Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Okay, Haribol.
स
He'll just project.
पर्या स पर्यगात् चुकरम अकायम अवरणानम अश्नवरीयम अश्नवेरम शुद्धम अपप विधम कविर्मनसि परिभूः स्वयंभूर यथातथो यथा तथयतो तथान व्यादधाच चाशवतीभ्यः क्षमाभ्यः. Another translation, I think. Saha, that person, Parvagat, must know in fact. Shukram, the omnipotent, Akayam, unembodied, Avranam, without reproach, Ashnaviram, without veins, Shuddham, antiseptic, Apapa, Vidham, prophyletic, prophylactic, Kavihi, omniscient, Manisi, philosopher, Paribhuhu, the greatest of all, Swayambhuhu, self-sufficient, Yatatha, Yataha, just in pursuance of, Arthan, desirables, Vyadadhat, awards, Shaswati Bhyaha, immemorial, Samabhyaha, time. Yes, sir, can you scroll down? Yeah. Oh, yes, yes.
Prabhu said there's some lag.
Yes, bro. Translation: such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. Yes, sir, scroll down. Purport. Here is a description of the transcendental and eternal form of the absolute personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is not formless. He has his own transcendental form, which is not at all similar to the forms of the mundane world. The forms of the living entities in this world are embodied in material nature and they work like any metal machine. The anatomy of a metal body must have a mechanical construction with veins and so forth, but the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord has nothing like veins. It is clearly stated here that he is unembodied, which means that there is no difference between his body and his soul. Nor is he forced to accept a body according to the laws of nature. As we are in materially conditioned life, the soul is different from the gross embodiment and subtle mind. For the Supreme Lord, however, there is never any such difference between him and his body and mind. He is the complete whole, and his mind, body, and he himself are all one and the same. In the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text number 1, there is a similar description of the Supreme Lord. He is described there as Satchidananda Vigraha, which means that he is the eternal form fully representing transcendental existence, knowledge, and bliss. As such, he does not require a separate body or mind, as we do in material existence. The Vedic literature clearly states that the Lord's transcendental body is completely different from ours. Thus, he is sometimes described as formless. This means that he has no form like ours and that he is devoid of a form we can conceive of. In the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text number 32, it is further stated that with each and every part of his body, he can do the work of the other senses. This means that the Lord can walk with his hands, accept things with his legs, see with his hands and feet, eat with his eyes, etc. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said that although the Lord has no hands and legs like ours, he has a different type of hands and legs by which he can accept all that we offer him and run faster than anyone. These points are confirmed in this 8th mantra through the use of words like Shukram, omnipotent. The Lord's worshipable form, Archa Vigraha, which is installed in temples by authorized acharyas who have realized the Lord in terms of mantra 7, is not different from the original form of the Lord. The Lord's original form is that of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna expands himself into an unlimited number of forms such as Baladeva, Rama, Narasimha, and Varaha. All of these forms are one and the same personality of Godhead. Similarly, the Archaha Vigraha, worshipped in many temples, is also an expanded form of the Lord. By worshipping the Archaha Vigraha, one can at once approach the Lord, who accepts the service of a devotee by his omnipotent energy. The Archa Vigraha of the Lord descends at the request of the Acharyas, the holy teachers, and works exactly in the original way of the Lord by virtue of the Lord's omnipotence. Foolish people who have no knowledge of Sri Isopanisad or any other Shruti mantras consider the Archa Vigraha, which is worshipped by pure devotees, to be made of metal elements. This form may be seen as material by the imperfect eyes of foolish people or Kanishta Adhikaris, but such people do not know that the Lord, being omnipotent or omniscient, can transform matter into spirit and spirit into matter as he desires. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text number 11 to 12, the Lord regrets the fallen condition of men with little knowledge who deride him because he descends like a man into this world. Such poorly informed persons do not know the omnipotence of the Lord. Thus, the Lord does not manifest himself in full to the mental speculators. He can be appreciated only in proportion to one's surrender to him. The fallen condition of the living entity is due entirely to forgetfulness of the relationship with God. In this mantra, as well as in many other Vedic mantras, it is clearly stated that the Lord has been supplying goods to the living entities from time immemorial. A living being desires something, and the Lord supplies the object of the desire in proportion to one's qualification. If a man wants to be a high court judge, he must acquire not only the necessary qualifications but also the consent of the authority who can award the title of high court judge. The qualifications in themselves are insufficient for one to occupy the post. It must be awarded by some superior authority. Similarly, the Lord awards enjoyment to living entities in proportion to the qualifications, but good qualifications in themselves are not sufficient to enable one to receive awards. The mercy of the Lord is also required. Ordinarily, the living being does not know what to ask from the Lord, nor which post to seek. When the living being comes to know his constitutional position, however, he asks to be accepted into the transcendental association of the Lord in order to render transcendental loving service unto him. Unfortunately, living beings under the influence of material nature ask for many other things, and they are described in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 41, as having divided or splayed intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is one, but mundane intelligence is diverse. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, text number 30 to 31, it is stated that those who are captivated by the temporary beauties of the external energy forget the real aim of life, which is to go back to Godhead. Forgetting this, one tries to adjust things by various plans and programs, but this is like chewing what has already been chewed. Nonetheless, the Lord is so kind that he allows the forgetful living entity to continue in his way without interference. Thus, this mantra of Sri Isopanisad uses the very appropriate word yatha yatha yathatha yathaha, indicating that the Lord rewards the living entities just in pursuance of the desires. If a living, if a living, scroll down. If a living being wants to go to hell, the Lord allows him to do so without interference, and if he wants to go back home, back to Godhead, the Lord helps him. God is described here as Paribhuhu, the greatest of all. No one is greater than him, or no one is greater than or equal to him. Other living beings are described here as beggars who ask goods from the Lord. The Lord supplies the things the living entities desire. If the entities were equal to the Lord in potency, if they were omnipotent and omniscient, there would be no question of their begging from the Lord, even for so-called liberation. Real liberation means going back to Godhead. Liberation as conceived of by an impersonalist is a myth, and begging for some gratification has to continue eternally unless the beggar comes to his spiritual senses and realizes his constitutional position. Only the Supreme Lord is self-sufficient. When Lord Krishna appeared on earth 5,000 years ago, he displayed his full manifestation as the personality of Godhead through his various activities. In his childhood, he killed many powerful demons such as Aghasura, Bakasura, and Shakatasura, and there was no question of his having acquired such power through any extraneous endeavor. He lifted Govardhana hill without ever practicing weightlifting. He danced with the gopis without social restriction and without reproach. Although the gopis approached him with a paramour's feelings of love, the relationship between the gopis and Lord Krishna was worshipped even by Lord Chaitanya, who was a strict sannyasi and rigid follower of disciplinary regulations. To confirm that the Lord is always pure and uncontaminated, Sri Isopanisad describes him as Shuddham, antiseptic, and Apapa Vidham, prophylactic. He is antiseptic in the sense that even an impure thing can become purified just by touching him. The word prophylactic refers to the power of his association. As mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text number 30 to 31, a devotee may appear to be Suduracharaha, not well behaved in the beginning, but he should be accepted as pure because he is on the right path. This is due to the prophylactic nature of the Lord's association. The Lord is also above with them because sin cannot touch him. Even if he acts in a way that appears to be sinful, such actions are all good, for there is no question of his being affected by sin. Because in all circumstances he is Shuddham, most purified. He is often compared to the sun. The sun extracts moisture from many untouchable places on the earth, where it remains pure. In fact, it purifies obnoxious things by virtue of its sterilizing powers. If the sun, which is a material object, is so powerful, then we can hardly begin to imagine the purifying strength of the all-powerful Lord. Haribol.
Haribo. Swami Prabhu, can we read the six shastra of the offenses now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you so much, Laban Prabhu. Thank you so much, Neil Prabhu, for reading. Haribo. Now Shikshashtakam,
Haribol,
followed by
Prabhu.
the 10 offenses. And then in India at least, we take rest and wake up for the morning tomorrow.
Yes, Haribol.
Yeah. Because it gets very difficult to wake up. I mean, at least for like neophyte devotees like me, if we sleep very late. So better to sleep early, wake up early, and stick with the regulation. That's why.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, the first is Shikshashtakam, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
You can
So
go
Pranjal Prabhu.
AK
Yeah,
Sam.
yeah, he's doing already.
Nice, okay.
Okay, so can I start the first one?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Shri Shikshashtaka. Seto darpanamarjanam भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावादुजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदां पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तना. Okay, second
Nam
one.
Nam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nitya Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Nyamita Smarane Nakalaha Eta Trishita Vakripan Bhagavan Mamapi Turdaiva Met Krishami Hajinanurakраha.
Neil Prabhu, you can read.
Yes, Prabhu. Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarodapi Sahishuna, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtaniya Sada Harihi.
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतद्भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि.
ऐनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितां मां विषमे भवां बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजा स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय.
Nayana Kinayanam Galadashrudaraya Vadanam Katkatarudaya Gira Pulakairene Chitam Vapukada Tavana Magrihani Bhavishyati.
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रविश्यतां शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे. ओके. आश्लिष्य वा पादरतं पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्म हतं करोति वा यथा तथा वा विधाति लम्पतो Matprananatastu saveva naparaha. Now the English. Haribol. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the street, lower than the straw in the street, and one should be more tolerant than a tree devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal savior, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet.
Neil Prabhu, you can read.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he hangs me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribol. Sri Siksastakam ki jai. Okay, then the 10 offenses, Prabhu.
No, we have to read this also. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No, before that, there's a different translation in KK songs, right? If you can go up.
But we don't read the 9.
No. After that, he shall remain. If anyone wants to, anyone who claims to be a Vaishnav, that is there, right?
Yeah, but that is after 10 offenses.
Oh, is it? Oh, I forgot that. I'm so sorry. Shikshashtakami ki jai. Now 10th offense. 10 offenses, sorry. If one is infested with the 10 offenses, okay, first read this, right? Okay. 10 offenses. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
To consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master or consider him as an ordinary person.
Haribo. To blaspheme the Vedic scripture, Vedic literature or literature in Persian of the Vedic version. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. To give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord.
To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
Consider chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities mentioned in the Vedas as activities karma kanda.
To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Ninth offense.
To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema, Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa
Vanchakalpadrubhashta
Sindhubhaya
kripasindhubheva patitanam
Shanam
pavanebhyo
Pavanebhaya
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai,
jai.
Jai,
Jai,
Hari
Jai
Hari
Guru.
Bol.
Haribo. Prabhu, you have
Jai.
a weapon in your hand.
Oh, this machine.
Haribo.
Thank you, dear devotees, for your kind association.
Jai Jagannath.
Please forgive me
Thank
for
you,
my
thank you, Prabhu.
offenses. And